The story begins under the bright glow of the moon, where a magnificent castle stood tall on a hill. At the bottom of that hill, countless houses filled with common folk stretched across the land. Inside one of those houses, a young boy sat in meditation. His name was Ming. He explained that he was nothing more than an ordinary scholar. His parents had left when he was just a child, and he never saw them again. With no one to rely on, he poured all his effort into studying, hoping to pass the imperial exams and make a living. He even sold his family home and borrowed money from landlord Joe at a ridiculous interest rate. For 3 long years, Min took the exams, but each time he failed. Broken and defeated, he was ready to give up on everything. That was until the day he wandered into the mountains north of the city. There he saw a group of children stuck on a cliff. As he wondered how they had even gotten there, a sudden flash of water struck beside him. He turned, only to see a mysterious girl in a white dress. She looked at him and spoke calmly, saying that he had potential to stumble upon this place on his own, and that it must be fate. They just so happened to need one more person, and he was coming with them. Before he even realized it, Min had been pulled into the world of cultivation. He once thought his life was over when he failed those exams, but now he had been given a new path, the path to immortality. He vowed to become powerful, to never bow his head again, to make those who shamed him pay, and to live a life without regret. Months passed. A crowd had gathered as news spread that Min had reached the first level of chi concentration in just 4 months. He wasn't a genius, but he wasn't talentless either. From that day forward, he was no longer a servant disciple. He had officially been promoted to outer sect disciple of the sect. An elder guided him deeper into the mountains, instructing him to visit the treasure pavilion to choose an artifact and head to his new residence in the northern district. He also gave him a word of advice: to memorize every word of the chi condensation scroll, as it would be the key to his survival. Min bowed respectfully and accepted. On his way, he received his new belongings: a private residence, a green robe, a spirit tablet, and a storage bag. Confused, he wondered what it was, until another disciple explained that by infusing spiritual energy into it, he could store items inside. Soon he arrived at the treasure pavilion. His eyes widened as he saw shelves filled with shining artifacts, but among them sat an ordinary bronze mirror, dull and unimpressive. Drawn to it, Min pointed at the mirror. Just then, a blonde disciple suddenly appeared, praising his sharp eyes. He claimed the mirror was the most mysterious treasure in the entire pavilion, forged from otherworldly light, and once declared a treasure by the sect's patriarch himself. Though the patriarch could never unlock its secrets, he believed the true master of the mirror would one day be unmatched. Still, Min was doubtful. If even the patriarch couldn't unravel its power, how could he? But the disciple insisted that such a treasure was all about destiny. Many had tried before, but failed. He told Min that if he couldn't unlock it, he could always return it later, though his smirk suggested otherwise. Before Min could refuse, the disciple shoved him backwards, sealing his choice. The mirror was now his. That night, Min sat in his new residence wearing his fresh robes. He told himself he was no longer the failed scholar of Juchen country. From now on, he was an outer sect disciple of the sect, ready to walk the path of cultivation. But his thoughts were interrupted. A brutal fight broke out nearby. He remembered the elder's warning. The sect was once one of the 4 great sects, but now it was a ruthless place that encouraged infighting. Spirit stones and pills were distributed each month, but disciples were free to rob and kill each other for them. There was even an area called the killing zone. Fear crept into his heart.
He realized immortals weren't noble or righteous like the stories said. This was a den of wolves, where the strong devoured the weak. Looking at the bronze mirror, he muttered to himself that perhaps having such a useless-looking treasure was a blessing in disguise. If he had chosen a stronger artifact, he might have been targeted already. In the end, he understood the harsh truth. If he wanted to survive here, there was no choice but to grow stronger.